Alright, how's it going, guys? I figured I would do the programming bit of this in a separate video, so I'm gonna, if you wanna see how I got this information from this file, there's another video that I made. Just go check that out. I know it's kind of long, but yeah, it explains how I got here. Anyway, so what I'm doing right now is gonna make a program just to print some stuff to the console window. If you want to do some other stuff, like make like a graphics interface and replace values and write files and stuff like that. So it's a different kind of thing, which, it could show, but I mean, it takes longer, I would say, than it is just to read and print to a console. Then you're dealing with storing the value and then writing the value, and it's not really, well, I guess it's not really that bad, but I mean, yeah. Okay, anyway, so, I picked apart the file is, the structures, and right now it's mostly in my head. But the way this kind of works is there's as you're reading along, you'll find there's an ID, like for example 1A. 1A then has its own structure, and then you just define the structure. So, for example, I'll explain one of these structures for you. There's my reference one. Okay, so the reference one here will have the value 9. So the type is 1 byte. Unknown is 1 byte. 2 bytes is the size, and then thereafter you have the string. So for example, where is it? Yeah, here it is. Okay, so we should see the file or the data type 19. So this is 19. Great. I don't know what that means. So unknown. 2 bytes the size. So C is 12. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 4, 8, 12. Then you're at the next one, which is 1A, and it has its own structure. So this data here that's highlighted is actually the reserved space for the name or the string or whatever. Okay, excuse me. And so I very crudely describe this here. So integer 8 bits, 1 byte. Integer 8 bits, 1 byte. Integer 16 bits. Short integer, and then string is should be dynamic. Oh, I worded that wrong. What is it's a set size, so it's defined by its size there. So that'll be the type. And so we're gonna program that, I guess. So yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna do this in MaxScript, and I'm so used to using 3ds Max and MaxScript. I never really took the initiative to move away from those, so I will apologize. But I will say that MaxScript is very easy to deal with compared to when I tried using Pantheon, Visual Basics, C++. I would say they're all very annoying programming languages. Not so much Pantheon. Pantheon, I just don't like the way, because for example, if you're going to do something, you would say like my thing, stuff, my next thing, whatever. And then it goes stuff. It's the way you do it. It's just weird. Like as in here, you would go my thing, stuff. So that to me is more logical to me. Pantheon is just, I get it. It's simplistic in its design, but to me it's confusing. I can't really describe it. Then C is like oh shit, how do you do C? I assume so long since I did C. You would define the type. So usually you would say my thing, and then I think you would keep that, yeah, and you have to return 0 or something. I think you might have to do that. I could be wrong. I can't remember. Yeah, they're little quirks. Yeah, totally. So I like MaxScript because it comes with its own document, and I feel it's fairly easy to kind of follow along with. But anyway, we're going to read this one file together. We're going to read some of the information and do a loop. Just print some things to the screen. So right now the data is just sitting in here. on the USB pen. So I'm gonna do a static path to that. So we're gonna create a function. So the function is gonna be read file. Okay. You're going to, I guess, include the file name, and actually you don't need brackets like that. Sorry. File name, and then this equals this, and then we're gonna put read file, and in the brackets I'm gonna put. Okay, with strings, you have to sometimes you have to incorporate a escape character. So I'm going to incorporate 2 slashes to represent a single slash. So this is the console window when we do any kind of printing. So if I was to print this, the double slashes get converted into a single slash. I don't really understand the technicalities behind it, but yeah. So any kind of string, you have to insert a second slash if you're pasting it there, okay? But if you're reading it from Windows, it's a little bit different. But anyway, so because we're typing that in, we're doing the escape sequence for the slashes, and that will work as a valid string. If you don't, I think you get an error. Actually, it still works. Well, now I'm just confused. Anyway, we're using the escape character because that's the way I always did it, so whatever. Okay, so now in here you can do some like logic and stuff like that. So I guess we're going to go, well, we're going to create some variables. And Visual Basic does this. You define, you create a line that creates, well, I guess I call it dimensionalism or something like this. I don't know, you say dim, and then you put whatever, like you're going to say your variable and your type. So I think that's a good practice, even though I don't think you really do it in C. Like, for example, I was going to define something in C. I believe you just put your variables up in here. Stuff, right? Or something like this. I can't remember. I can't remember. That's how you do it. But anyway, so I specify if it's going to be in or out, so local. But I think also if you just did this, it's assumed local. I don't remember. I can't remember. So I'm going to expressly tell it as the local value, which means that the value cannot escape my bracket. So the weird thing is if I type in stuff, I believe you can access stuff outside of the bracket unless you make it local, which means that it will die once it leaves the bracket. Confusing. I'm talking really confusingly right now. Yes, I understand. But anyway, so we're going to say local, and what do we need to know? The file. So we're going to store the file into memory to F, and then we're going to go down here and go F equals, and then just following the documentation in here, it will say to open up a file, you do the following. So you go F open, okay, and then you give it your file name, and then you express the mode within a string. So you would go read binary, and then you could do other stuff too, but we'll stay with that. Okay, and then after you're done doing anything that you're doing, you want to make sure you file close F. It's kind of important, and then you're pretty much good to go. If you don't do that, then your file will get stuck in memory, and you don't want that. Okay. Okay, so now we can read from memory. Great. Okay, so now we're gonna go. I guess we're gonna loop. I guess we're gonna start the loop. I guess we'll start it here. I guess. Okay. And okay. So there's different kinds of loops. There's like a for loop. I think that's it. There's a for loop and a while loop. I'm going to use a while loop. So while, now I have to think about conditions now. Okay. Okay, so we're going to F tell F, okay, is less than the file size. Okay, so this means now we need to know the file size. So I need to put that up here. So file size get file size, file name. Okay, so again, we're just creating our variables and defining it as a local, and then I give it an initialization. In this case, a 0. It doesn't really matter actually. You can just leave it. But I like doing it sometimes. F would have been a variant, or like I don't know, I don't know what it is, so I just left it as undefined. But 3ds Max has a weird thing of just automatic typecasting, so actually you don't even have to do that. But I do it in VB, so I mean, why not? Anyway, so fuck it, this can be confusing. Okay, just do that. Because I don't want to make this super confusing. File size equals get file size from this file. So you don't have to open the file into memory to get the file size. It'll just check the file attributes, I believe, and then return the size attribute, and then we can use that. So we're going to say ftel is asking where are we right now. Okay. So what this means is we have to also be reading. If we don't move, then it's going to go into an infinite loop. So if we're incrementing where we are, then we should hit that limit. So that would be read byte from the file in memory. And I'm just going to give it this argument, which is to not sign the values. I don't like signed values. I like unsigned values. Okay. Explain that later, I guess. And then so it should reach the file. Yeah, I think so. Now we can do some interception. Yeah. So now this is gonna have to be the type. Okay, and then we go type equals, and then we can make a giant case statement. So case type of, and the default will be to format print. What am I doing? No. Unknown. Now we're just going to supply it type. Wow. Okay. Explaining it. Okay. So the format is a formatted print, which means that you can print something to the console, but with advanced features. And so, for example, I made a string, and then I put these special escape sequences or whatever kind of characters in there, which you can sub with a variable. So the in this case, for this type of language that we're working with, MaxScript, it will allow us to do this. You can also do this in C and stuff like that. I think it's called fprint. In Pantheon, I think it's also called fprint, actually. Can't remember. And so this character will be replaced with a variable, and so this variable will insert into there. So unknown, and then this is the escape sequence. T is recognized as a tab space, and then we have the variable, and then we have escape sequence, and then the N character, which will give us a new line. Yeah, confusing, right? Anyway, so that's going to give us the type, and then I want to exit the loop. Yeah. So how am I going to do that? So file size is just going to have to equal 0. So that means 0 is not larger than anything than we are. Or you can even make it -1, actually. Yeah. Because you could technically be at 0. Or no, I don't think it can be at 0. Or can you? I can't remember. I think you just make it -1 to be sure. Yeah. And so that will, the next time it loops around, it will just kill itself. So this means that if I run this, it will give me one error and then kill itself. So we'll run that. Oh, you know what? Right here, I'm going to put clear listener. That's just going to clear the window. Unknown 1. Yeah. Okay. So this is 1 apparently. Now, just to make my life easier, we're going to go skip 16FF. That's the size there. So, yeah. Fun times. File seek in the memory F16F. And again, we need to use some special characters. This will allow us to use a hexadecimal value. And then we're going to just apply a argument, how you pronounce it. We're going to seek from the beginning of the file, so that's from the beginning, the set point, I guess. Anyway, so that will push us down into here, in which case we will keep looping. Now, I know that's not right because you want to technically get the rest of the stuff in there, but I mean, I don't want to go through each one and document it right now. We're going to skip right down here so that we can get to some more juicy stuff. So I should be hitting 19, and it should give me an error. Well, 19 translates into a different value. This is in hexadecimal. It should be 25 as a decimal number. Oops, I did that wrong. Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Up here, we're going to put in 1. And so what this means is if the type is 1, then we skip. Else, we return an error, and then we stop. So if I run that again, it should say 64. Oh, okay, it's supposed to be current. Okay, so that means I read 1, and then I jump 16F down. If I did set, it would have had to been 170. Okay, so this should work now. 25. So that's what we expected to see. So we are sitting right here with the cursor. Okay. Now we're going to just define what we're going to do when we hit 19 or 25. Sorry, I apologize. 25. And this is what we're going to do, I guess. So now the structure that I had defined here is just basically this. So I guess we're just going to just do that, I guess. So that entails we read another byte. So we already read the type, so that's gone. This unknown, I'm going to skip it. Then we have the size, and this is going to be the string. So now we might want to run another function. So function read fixed string fixed. I should know it. You can do it a different way, actually. Because I don't want to make a second function because it's kind of annoying. So what we're going to do is we're just going to make another position, and then we're going to log our position. I think will work. We're going to go position equals ftel, and the position will be plus the size. What size will be read short f unsigned. Okay. So this means is that we're going to skip. Well, we're going to read. We already read the type here. We read the unknown already. Okay. We now read the size saved as position, and then at the end we're going to seek fseek from our file this position, but now it's going to be seek set, not current. Okay, because we're taking a current value or a set value, I guess, doing addition, and we want to set to that position. We don't want to jump from a previous position. Wow, the worst teacher because it sounds confusing to me. Anyway, this will work, and then we can do whatever we want to do. And so I guess in here, you can store your reference value. Okay, so you can say ref. So you can go ref equals read string from your file. So read string is actually an internal command, much like the read byte, read short kind of thing. So again, read byte will read 8 bits, and read short will read 16 bits. Read string will actually read all the bits. It will read all the bits until it reaches 0. So what will happen is it will encounter 44, 43, and then terminate or stop, and that will allow it to read D4 and then stop. The problem with this is that it will just stop here, and we have to keep traveling. So what I did is I logged the size, and then after we're done reading, it just jumps to this position. So if by mistake we read too much, it doesn't matter. We'll just jump back over there. Okay, I think that's probably the fastest way of doing it. Anyway, so it's reading it, and so we're just going to do a formatted print reference. and ref. And then we get D4 and then it hits 0 for some reason. I mean, it's wrong. Size. If anything, it should hit 1A. Yeah. Ow, 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 my leg. Take the current position, which... oh, yeah. Whoops. Because, I forgot to include the size that we're reading, so 2 bytes, because that's not accommodated. I guess you can do another way. You can read it first, and then plus the ftl, and that would do the same thing. Ooh, actually I did that wrong. All right, so that puts us at 26, which is now here. Okay, then we just keep doing that. So we need a x value and a y value. I don't think I can use x as its... okay, I can use x and y, but I mean, in some programming languages, there are some characters which are like you cannot use, and I think x and y are one of them. Well, yeah, well, we'll use that. We'll see. It'll probably work. Anyway, and so basically it's the same thing. Basically, you know what? Yeah, same thing basically. Do I have that registered here? 26. I don't think I registered as anything. What is this thing? Actually, you know what? 1A. I did register that. That's yes, of course. Okay, so that is x. Durf. Okay, so we'll just copy that. 26, and we're not doing the same thing, but the structure is very similar. So we read the same thing, but instead of reading a string, we're reading just a integer. Ooh, you know what? I can't read doubles on this system. Well, darn it. Okay. Prefixes. Oh, there we go. Okay. Is this going to work as a float function? No. Okay. PR1 float function. Ah, okay. Here we go. I wrote a float function for a double before, so we are good. Actually, you know what? This is an updated system, right? So read double is an actual thing. Okay, we don't need that. Okay. Huh. Okay. Where am I? Okay, so we're gonna we don't even need position anymore, but we'll skip it and then we'll just go x equals read double. And then there's some math that we have to apply, which is times it by 25.4. And that is our millimeter value, and we just put that in there. And that's x we're supplying. Alright, so we got... Oh, it says D for double. I don't like that. We're going to cast it as a float. There we go. Now it looks like a real float. Yeah. You don't have to do that. The reason why I did casting as a float is because it's representing the value as a double value, and with a float, it doesn't really tell you that, because with MaxScript, there was no such thing as a double. You just use a float. So they added double as a new data type, and I think they express it with a D now, just so you know that it's a double value. I don't really care to know if it's a double value or not, so I cast it to a float, which means I lose precision, but I mean, I'm probably talking nonsense again, but that's okay. And then, might as well just do this. So what this means is, this is y. That's y, so we can run that. All right, we can even cast this. We can even cast this to the same same line. So we can go format, go reference, tab X, tab Y, new line, and you can go ref X, Y, you go up here, you can go like this, reference, tab X, tab Y, new line, and why does it look really dumb? Oh, because I gotta delete these. And then unknown is kind of in the way. And oh yeah, well, actually that won't really work, will it? No, because once it, yeah, okay, so we're gonna put that down in here, just for now. But anyway, I still screwed up. Yeah, still screwed up. Okay. Well, that's still in the way. Oh, I don't want to see that. Okay. Yeah, I got. The reason why I want it on like one line is because I can copy and paste it into like Excel, but I don't need to do that. So I mean, I don't even know why I did that. Anyways, that was the values that we got here, I suppose. But they're reversed for some stupid reason. I have no idea why. It's confusing. But anyway, you can just switch them around. Who cares? And so that's how we would go about it. Now, I think there's some other stuff in there too that kind of is impeding our loop. I think it's the 1F, which is impeding our loop. And so we would just to get by, I'm supposed to be reading this, by the way, because it is important. But I mean, for now, we'll just skip it. We want to get to the next data. So this means that we're going to skip 13. Yeah. So we're just going to go seek FO13, seek from current position. And then that should, didn't really do what I wanted to do now. Well, it's supposed to stop. It didn't stop. Okay, so I'm going to put this back here. Okay, so I don't know why it doesn't. Well, technically, it must have reached the end of the file. Okay, so this is, yeah. Okay, so you know what? I should have put integer. Yeah, probably I should have done that. Equals 1, and then we go I plus equals 1, or more traditionally, I equals I plus 1. And then, oh, okay, well that's strange. Because I forgot, I go on to increment. I only want to hit here, basically. Which, I mean, this should be 0 then. No, what's going on? Okay, so basically I want to print every time I hit this dumb thing. Ah, better. Okay, so I'm supposed to have 15 reserved, actually, so that's kind of strange. Oh, maybe not. No, I'd have to look at it some more. But anyway, so the loop, for some reason, the loop completed successfully. So that means we hit the end of the file before I was expecting to. No big deal. So these actually integer values are those index values are actually stored in that 1F1, where it says 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't bother reading it. I don't care right now. But anyway, the core of the data that I wanted to steal is pretty much there. We got that looping through. So yeah, so that's basically how I grabbed that data. So this incorporates actually a lot of understanding of programming. I'm sorry, I meant to make this a little more simple than this, but it actually it required so many different aspects of my programming knowledge that, I mean, it's actually hard to explain and for someone to kind of repeat it because there's a lot of concepts here. Like, for example, when you read a textbook, there's like 10 pages or more just on looping in a textbook. So I mean, I'm using it so freely. Like for example, the while loop. Like if you screw it up, you're gonna get stuck in an infinite loop. Your system will crash, or the software will crash, or something like this. Like I mean, if it's C or something, you're pounding your CPU until it dies, or I mean, until Windows like destabilizes it because it runs out of RAM or something like that. But I mean, some of these programming concepts, they're not meant to be taken lightly. You need to use them in a proper context or principle, otherwise they don't work. So I mean, it uses a lot of principles, and I'm sorry, it's not so simple. And there's a lot of trickery going on in here, like jumping around, seeking, copying the position, jumping to a new position, doing some mathematics here, stuff like that. This read double thing, it's in the new version of 3ds Max or MaxScript, but not in the old version. So that's why I need to make my own. I made my own function for that, so that you can have functions that plug in to your functions. So you can what do you call that? You have inheritance. So now we're getting into inheritance, and that's another like 10 pages in the textbook. This thing which I was trying to explain and then just got frustrated trying to figure out. This is scoping. So scoping is when you have things that are encapsulated or not encapsulated. So they're also, the way they describe it is really confusing. Like they can be public or private, where they're accessible outside or inside. It's confusing, super confusing. A lot of principles that are incorporated here, but to me it's very simple. So to me, I'm thinking about this in like a closed bracket term. So we have a function which will open the file, loop through the file, and print me the data. So in my head, it's broken into 3 parts, and then when I go through it, then it just gets complicated. But I work through it one piece at a time. And so, unfortunately, a lot of it is actually foresight. Like I already know, okay, I need to do this because I need to get by this thing or something. I don't know. I'm explaining it really terribly. But yeah, that's how I would program it. Okay, that was going for too long, so I'm going to end this. So yeah, this is an example in MaxScript because it's easier to represent and less finicky. Okay, I can do things in like VB or C or something like that, but I might get errors because I've made typos here and there or something like that, or because I just don't know the languages that well. And the syntax, there's a lot of syntax. Like I mean, everything has to be a certain way. Like for example, like the spelling of my variables would have been a problem or something like that. Like I said, like X might have been like a blacklisted variable or something like that. Or there was no library for double float or something like that, so they import my own library. So yeah, I use this just to get the concepts across. But these core concepts, they exist across all languages. For example, a while loop is in every language. Case switch is in every language. Binary functions are in every language. So yeah, there are principles that are here that are across all languages. So I could do this in C, I could do this in VB, I can do it in Pantheon. It's just a matter of me going through the documentation and be like, okay, so why did this thing crash? Oops, because I had to have a semicolon here. Whoops, guys. So yeah, I'm not really digging that, but yeah. So yeah, so this program, if I wanted to, I'd have to make like a graphical interface, I suppose, and then write the file back. So I might make a video on that. I might not. I mean, these videos are just me kind of rambling to myself. It's kind of sad. So I don't know if I'll make a video part 3 to this. But anyway, it's late. You guys enjoy it. Have a good night. Okay, later. Peace.